morning. Comments. Once again, thank you for watching. I'm shocked all the time. I'm shocked at the growth of the channel and that anybody cares about what I have to say, so thanks. That's weird, man. Like that last night's Sunday night chat thing was just me talking about stuff I did in life. You know, a very small segment of that subject there, and people like listening to it. It's weird, man. It's good though. I'm not gonna stop. But a couple things, from working on the rear bumper on the van to the cyclovia thing, and probably touch on last night's video too. And just so you know what I'm doing, the van feels rough at the moment. It's not rough, but you might hear something here just because I just started. It's warming up. Temperature's at 0. I want to get going on this table this week at the shop. Now that I got the license plate thing relocated and got the light going, I can now put the tire and the box on. And the box I have to get on today. It shouldn't take long because that eats up a huge... You'll see this box is friggin' huge. I could probably crawl inside of it. If I chop the bodies up right, I could probably fit 2 people in that box. That's how big the friggin' box is. It's a lockable box. I want to over mount it to this bar system, this swing away bar system. Dude, what are we doing here? Keeping in mind, man, if somebody wants to steal your stuff, there's always a way to deal it. To do it. If you had a house in the middle of nowhere and you spent money on locks, I don't care if you got steel shutters on that thing. If I want to get in your house, I'll get in your house. I'll go through the wall. I got a freaking kit of tools here. I'll take a circular saw and I'll open a hole up right in the side of your house and walk right into it. There's always a way to get in. Somebody wants to get in your car, they're going to break a window and take whatever they want to take. So you know, there's only so much you can do, man. You know, basically you're doing a deterrent. You're doing something that slows somebody down enough so that, you know, hopefully... This part of the road is always bad whenever I get on it. It's got concrete street. There's a lot of potholes in it. This little stretch of Gower. Whenever I watch one of my videos and we're on this stretch of road, I'm like, man, that sounds horrible. That's what it is. As I was saying, it's just a deterrent. It's to slow somebody down, or at least make them think it's not worth the aggravation of trying to steal your stuff because of what they got to go through. But keep in mind, you know, thieves are pretty smart these days. If they really want something, I mean, I've got a cordless grinder with me. You got a grinder and a cutoff wheel, a couple bolts, boom, you know, take the whole box. So, I'm just saying, I'm going to try to make it so that it's harder to deal with. The cyclovia thing. Oh, and also on that, listen, it's funny to me getting the comments. If you, and I've said this before, man, I don't know, I know what it is. It's a psychological personality thing. You know something, you want to let somebody know you know it. You're not always right, but you can't help yourself. But if you're watching a video where you see in the video that I've done something, and then you're giving me advice in the comments telling me how to do it, after the fact, you are wasting your time. It's already done. Having said that, there was a couple comments that were good. Because I don't know everything, man. And I forgot about it. And it was right there in front of me, and I saw it, and I still didn't think about it, and I'll tell you why. These vans, they're like, from the factory, the towing capacity is like 5,000 pounds or 5,500 pounds. Of course, this thing now could probably tow a lot more because I've beefed up the suspension and everything else, but it comes with a plug assembly in the back that you can plug into a trailer so all the lights work. However, the guy I bought the van from lied to me. You know, it was pretty obvious at the time. I've mentioned this before because I asked him, have you ever used this for towing? And he said no. And I looked under there and I could tell that there had been a tow hitch mounted to it before. and he had a bigger truck out front with a giant trailer attached to it. So I'm pretty certain he was towing that giant trailer with this thing, which made me think I'm probably going to have transmission problems, which is exactly what happened. And now I have a new transmission. But what I didn't notice at the time till after I bought the van was that wire harness with the plug on it, the plug was cut off. He must have used that to wire into his newer vehicle so he could plug his trailer in. Now, it doesn't matter so much, right? The wire harness is still there. My issue would be, and I guess I would just call our Astrovan Viking Wizard Aaron, because if I said, Aaron, with that harness in the back, which wires go to what? He's going to go, okay, the purple one with the white stripe and the black one with the blue polka dots is for your left turn signal. And like, he'll know this stuff, or it's going to be on a forum. And I'm going to need to know that, because it will make wiring the new taillights that I'm going to put inside the bumper easier. Right? Theoretically, it should. What are you doing, man? You know, it's funny. I'm driving a lifted 4x4 van through the city, so no matter how bad the roads are, I can handle it. That's one of the benefits of driving like a lifted vehicle with suspension in a city with bad roads. Like the guy in front of me is in a Prius. So we just went through an intersection that did this with a bunch of potholes to navigate. So he hit his brakes and went through that like at a snail's pace as the lights changing. It's funny. I don't have to worry about it. All right. This guy must have gotten a ticket at a stop sign before. Anyhow, that's that. Thanks for that reminder. I'll use the wire harness when it comes time to wire those lights. I got to order those. I got to find those and order them. Ciclavia, I didn't make much commentary on like what the goings on around me. A little bit of that. It mostly became like a trip down memory lane there. It's good to get out. I haven't ridden a bike in months and months and months. Maybe a year. That's crazy for a guy that owns all the bicycles I own, that I built. So that was nice. But I wanted to make a couple comments on riding a bicycle, in particular in the city, and those events. Because it seems to me, I've been on quite a few of those sorts of rides here in Los Angeles. It seems like a lot of the people that do those rides do not ride a bicycle on a regular basis, because they just don't know what they're doing. Now, it's a huge crowd. You're navigating this. You've got pedestrians walking in the middle of the street, like in a line, not a single file line. They're walking shoulder to shoulder, a group of people, and there's bicycles whipping by. They're just fucking everything up. What is that, man? People jogging through everything. But the people on the bicycles are bad because they're just, you know, they're doing this meandering thing, and they're never looking over their shoulder to see who's coming behind them. Now, I'm not super speedy in that situation on purpose, but you do have those jerks on the bicycles who, like, their attitude is, I ride all the time, you know, and they're trying to get through it fast, like jerks, like they're in an Ironman competition or something, and they're creating problems. Plus, you got people with their kids on bikes, and the kids don't know the bikes. I'm not complaining about that. That's a good thing. I'm just saying, those scenarios with that, and the noise is a lot for me, and the terrible music. I mean, some of the music's actually pretty good, but you're forcing me to listen to it. I've been down this road before with you guys where I've talked about hiking, like going hiking around here, and people bringing their stereos with them or a speaker while they're hiking. You're a jerk off, man. Like, if I'm hiking up to the Hollywood, I don't even do it like I used to do it anymore, because I encounter that every single time now, and you're forcing me to listen to your shit. What's wrong with you? Put some headphones on, man. Now I have to bring music with me whenever I go, and I just have the earbuds in, so I'm listening to my own thing. And you know what? Nobody else knows what I'm listening to. I'm a conscientious citizen. I try not to have what I'm doing with my life when I'm out and about impact everybody else around me. Maybe you should consider that. Be a better human being. And then last night with the whole video there, talking about my escapades and whatnot. I really felt like that was kind of underwhelming stuff. I mean, I could sit here all day and talk about like physical confrontations, but it's not a... The truth is, I don't like talking about it because it brings up those thoughts, feelings, emotions, everything you went through at the time, and then you relive that, and it's not pleasant, right? So, but it is interesting. I watched it last night after it took a while for that to load. It was a long video, and I did watch it. It was interesting to me that those were the things I recalled. And I don't know if I drove home enough the point of, psychologically working with people's minds so that you can diffuse a situation without the need to be physical. That's the most important thing. That's the lesson, I suppose. So anyhow, this will be a short one, I promise. Hey, can anybody tell me why when I take the keys out of the ignition, my fuel gauge will jump up and my temperature will jump up? I'm going to stick the key in. Now it goes down to 0. I take the key out. And then sometimes those needles will jump up again for some reason. It makes me think it hasn't done it yet here, but it might. And it hasn't done it, so we'll see. My oil pressure's midway right now. They just jumped up again. Is this something I have to be concerned with? Does that mean I have like a short or something somewhere? Or could it be because I have the phone charger plugged in? Help me out with that one. I'm hoping that it's enough. I just plugged it in and I just saw the charger. Something about this charger. I've got the quad lock on, which is a good system. I've got this thing on the dash here, and I got the charger plugged in. It's not designed to work like this. I made it work. I did a video on it, and this wire runs under here. It's just kind of wrapped here for now, and then it's plugged in down here. That thing seems to back out a hair, and then but when I remember to go over there and touch it, turn it, twist it in, it'll tell me that now it's charging. And I forget to do that sometimes, so sometimes the phone's not charging. I'd like to hardwire this wire if it's possible. I'm not a wiring guy, man. I could use a little help with that, actually. Something else I could use a little help with, I suppose. So, I got so much for a short video. I got a note from a guy I really like back home, Greg. He's an awesome guy. He was like, when he was young, I mean, I knew him in high school and everything. I think he's a year or so younger than me. Maybe 2, I don't remember. But he, always good-looking kid, great family, sisters smoking. and he married this gorgeous girl too. He's got 2 gorgeous daughters. I mean, the guy's got a great life. He's a dog trainer back east. So if you're back east in Jersey and you need your dog to learn some discipline, you can't beat him. Oh, he's just sent me a text. I just read it across the screen. So yeah, he sent me a note this morning and asking about the channel and how it's doing and if it's monetized and all that. So for those of you following along, it is, I'm having an issue accessing, making the AdSense page work. But I think it is boiling down to I have an old laptop. It's an old MacBook Pro, and it will not support the newer, latest versions of browsers out there. So I got to use an old browser. I made the mistake like a week or so ago coming home, and I was kind of frazzled, and I went to the YouTube studio, and it opened up this window telling me I had to upgrade the browser, and I didn't scroll to the bottom. That would allow me to skip that, and I did upgrade the new browser, and it wouldn't work, and it really screwed me. I was in a panic for an hour and a half on the computer where I had to find the old version that was still in there in my applications and restore that, but I lost all my passwords. It was a fucking nightmare, man. So, and that computer's on its last legs. I need a new computer, and I'm looking at the new MacBook Pros, and of course I want the one that has the greatest capacity, because the big deal with this is the editing with the computer. I want to be able to present you guys with, believe it or not, like a better quality video, especially when I start getting out and venturing more with this thing. I'm putting all the work into it. So it's like $2,500 for that computer. That's not, some people go, that's ridiculous, that's a lot of money. I don't see it as a lot of money. It's money. You make money, you spend money, you lose money, more money comes in, you give money away, you help people out, more good stuff comes. I mean, that's just the ebb and flow of life, all right? So I need to make that happen. Any help? I don't know. I'm not asking you for money. Maybe if you got an older, like not as old as my computer, one that supports modern browsers that you got a deal on, let me know. If you know somebody who works for Apple or something, I don't know how this stuff works, and I'm not a beggar. So, oh, I'm sick, and oh, the van needs to be worked on, and I need help, please send me money. I'm not that guy, man. I'm just not that dude. I'm a self-sufficient, self-reliant guy. But I do accept help. I've learned that later in life. I didn't accept help for a long, long time. You guys know I work alone. I try to do everything I can. But if you've got friends in life and they offer you help, you're doing them a favor by accepting that help, because they genuinely want to help. That's what friends are for. So it's good. I wouldn't have been able to do everything I've done without people popping into my life. I mean, Dave's become a great friend. I love that guy. Dave's a godsend, and he helps everybody out, that guy. Dave should have like angel wings tattooed on his back. That guy's freaking amazing, man, and what he knows. And I hooked him up with Sabo, that conservative street artist, because Sabo had this design, this idea. I'd seen it, and I was talking to Sabo about it on the phone one day, and he said what he wanted to do with it, and I said that would be cool in metal, and he's not a metal guy. Like, he made one out of like parts that he glued together of plastic and a fucking paper mache or something. I don't know what he was doing, but I said, well, I know a guy, and it was Dave. I said, he does CNC machining, he does CAD, all this stuff. He could put that whole thing into a CAD program, which Sabo had already done. I've got a bunch of text messages here, and I said, well, talk to Dave, because he can make those parts and he can weld them out of steel and make these things badass. So that happened, and it's taken months because he's busy and everything else, but I don't know. I'll talk to him in a little bit. I should have called him before I did this video, but he was welding them up this weekend. Hopefully he got them all welded up, and I'm getting one, which is really cool, because I spent the money. I paid to have the parts done because I want one. It's freaking badass. And but that's a thing. I guess the point there is with friendships and everything else, I've always done that weird thing. I've just been lucky, because I know so many different types of people that have so many different types of skills, and I always talk them up, just like I talk Greg up there. Bark Busters is what it's called. If you're in Jersey, Bark Busters. That's my buddy Greg. And I'll be talking to somebody and they need something, and I'll say, oh, I know a guy who can do that. And if I know you and we're friends, I know you'll follow through, because I don't hang out with bums. All the people I'm friends with, the people I care about the most, the people I interact with and speak with on a regular basis, they're can-do people that will do. That's it. Those are the types of people you should seek out and become friends with, which, it's a weird thing with me. I can't be friends with everybody. I wish I could, so sorry. Thanks for being here and having that feeling. That's good. But I met a guy at the Cyclovia yesterday. You see him in the video. It's the cover shot. It's me and him. Nice guy. And he had sent me a message recently, and I was like, what was that? I mean, it was just days earlier, and I didn't remember it. I kind of remembered it. Then he jogged my brain. I remembered it, but I couldn't see the image in my head, so I wasn't sure exactly what it was, but I specifically remember getting it, but I remember who it was from, and of course I didn't know him. So that happens to me all the time. There's just too much going on in my regular life. what I'm dealing with the people I interact with on the regular and friends and family going back decades and all that, to now exposing myself to the public and running into people. It's very nice, but it's interesting. It's not a bad thing. It's only if I'm in a mindset where I'm trying to get something done, and now somebody's coming in and they're excited. That's when it can be a little bit of a hassle, because, dude, thank you so much, but I got to focus. I got to get stuff done. So, anyhow, I'll show you the shop in a bit. I'll probably do the mounting of the box right here in this video, and then this afternoon, hopefully start doing some woodworking. And hopefully the rain will hold off today. It's pretty dark out there. All right, stick around. Real quick, you know, I've thought of this. Dave's thought of it. You know, now that you know the plate here, you want to cover this and make more room inside the door so that, you know, I could do a box like what I have here, right? All that internal door storage. Problem is, the handle's part of that. Now, I was just talking to Dave about it. There could be a way where we could cut this and then print something that could seal this off and try to make that watertight, and then have a plate that goes over everything and then do it. But that's a lot of extra work. I don't know that that's, you know, worth the aggravation. You know, I got new storage now inside the bumper. I'm about to put the box on, and so I just wanted you to see that for those of you that were bringing that up. We know, it'd be a nice thing if there's a way to do it. Maybe somebody else has done it, but if I do it, I want it to look right. And figuring that out is a lot of brain power right now that I got to apply to things that are going to pay me. So, you know, back to the mess in the shop, but look at the size of this box. Look how much room this thing takes up. I'll put the tape on it once I get it on the rack there, but yeah. And then I've got an idea for once I get the box mounted, what I'll do with the insides. I think I'll put some thin, like I don't know, put some plywood on the sides to support shelves. And I think with a little bit of plywood in there, it'll be good, because it'll eat up a little bit of metal to metal noise, you know, things rattling around and whatnot. Alright, that thing is friggin' massive. You know what I mean about like putting a body in there? Well, yeah, if you cut it up, maybe just one body. I don't know if you can get two bodies in there. Now the tire, yeah, they call them 32-inch tires, but you know, they only measure out just over 31. And this way they're even shorter. People don't realize that. It only really measures out to about 30.5 inches or so. But I'm going to measure from the center to the edge, 15.5 inches. So if I go 16 inches, slide that over. Yeah, that'll give me enough room. Now, this disc is too small for the center on my wheels here. The guy who had this has second gen Astrovan, so he had the 15-inch wheels. I'm guessing that they have smaller studs, and that's why none of this will work for my wheels. So I bought studs. You guys saw that already, and lug nuts and everything else. I just talked to Dave. He told me to call IMS, Industrial Metal Supply. So they sell an 8-inch by 1/2-inch thick disc. It's like $25 or so. And I'll get that. I'll lay it on the tire. I'll mark where the holes go, and I'll make all that work. When I do that, I'm trying to spare you the helicopter noise, which would force me to yell. When I do that, I can also offset that a bit, so I should consider that right now. But I think we'll be okay where this is at. And I'll have that hopefully this week. The most important thing is getting the box on there. because I can get gear in there and everything else. It'll make life a lot better. So let me work on that right now. Stick around. I did just think of an easier way to do this, which is just that makes life a lot easier. The bell tolls. This thing got pretty beat up, man. Stuck on this Simon and Garfunkel song. The melodies and harmonies that those guys did, pretty amazing for a couple stoned hippies. The soundtrack of your youth, man. All right, let's drill some holes. All right, so typically I would drill a small pilot hole, foist, but I think it's a shot. Because it's so thin, you know. All right. Let's see if this lines up at all. Got a little weight to it. It's not kooky. It's not too kooky. Funny story. I knew I saw the keys inside this thing and I couldn't find them. And so I was asking David, like, Dave, where are those keys? Can you find them? Can you look for them? They got to be in your yard somewhere. He couldn't find them. I'm off on that one. have to elongate one of those holes, but the top one fit. Hey, how about we get those big fat washers? I'll tell you what, I'm running out of everything. I keep forgetting I don't have enough of everything I need here to do this, and I'm thinking if there's enough room, which there is, I think what I have to do is well, no. I think what I have to do is I'm going to have to, I might still use this on the inside, but basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on here, right? I'm going to back that in all the way, and then I'm going to put one of these, and then I'm going to put, I got a bunch of these still, I made extras, so the idea here is to, and an attempt to keep some water from going in there. Washer, and then rubber. All right, and then, you know, like I said, this will be backed in all the way. Well, I'll give it a shot. I don't know if this is going to work. And then the body of the box, and then another washer and a lock nut. Let me see if this will even work. This isn't going to work. That's not going to work. I'm going to have to think this one out. I might have to just like chance this whole thing and be like, all right, just put these on without the rubber washer and see what happens. I could seal it with, I can just use some silicone or something. But, well, okay, it doesn't have to back out all the way, and actually there is enough. I think there is enough room to do this. I think we're okay. I think it's gonna work. I won't show you all this. I'll show you after I get it done. All right, so they're in there on the back bar, and I did drill the holes for the bottom. There was 2 little holes in here already. And then I just thought of something. While I was looking for washers, I found a whole thing of larger riv nuts, and it just hit me. And I can always put plugs here. It's not a big deal. Maybe I should drill through here, and maybe even 2 here. I think you guys know what I'm getting at. I'm thinking, whoa, sorry. That was a weird, probably looked like a black screen because I just had you pointing at the inside of that. But yeah, well, you know what I'm thinking already. Putting a riv nut in the tubing, and then putting a bolt right into the riv nut. So that's probably not a bad thought. The idea would be, like, if somebody still wants to get this thing, then they just gotta basically slip like a Sawzall blade or something, you know, between here, you know, to cut that. But I like the idea of the extra added security. I don't know. I'm probably making this way more complicated than it needs to be. Right now, most people would leave this just as it is. And I don't mind if there's a bolt popping up down here, because I kind of want to put like a plastic spacers or something here, and then a little piece of plywood across the bottom, so there's an airspace between that and the bottom of the plywood, in case any moisture gets in here, or if I got something in there like oil, because that's what this is for. It's for fluids, recovery gear, stuff like that. Nothing, you know, super expensive necessarily. But if I did that, then if moisture got in or there's an oil spill or something, it can bypass all that stuff and settle down here. Whereas if you had a bag, like you had a little bag of like tools or something, it's not just sitting in water or oil or anything else. And I don't mind having a few little weep holes here at the same time for the same reason, as well as just getting some airflow in here. Of course, these back ones I don't like the idea of. The thinking is rain comes down from the top. Now, splashing and whatnot, of course, could kind of get up in here. That would be kept at a minimum. So I don't mind the idea of a couple holes in the bottom. It's kind of like in the bottom of the bumper. Let it air out a bit, less stinky, and again, things can air out, dry out in here. So, I mean, I really don't want to make this a bigger project than it needs to be, but Alright, so once again, this tool here comes in real handy because that ratchet was taking forever. Make sure I got these torqued down enough here. So I've got these two bolts going into riv nuts in that cross member there, and then I got two on the bottom. That should be pretty good. Now I can clean up the shop and get to woodworking, and what I'll do once I clean things up, the first thing I'll do is I'll put a bottom in this and put side pieces and put a couple shelves in there. After I place a couple things, I'll probably put a front, you know, I'll do it the Mike Z way, man. All right, I'm not saying that bag's gonna live in there, but you can see this bag, it's 18 inches long and a foot deep that way, about 8 inches tall. Plenty of room. You can see it. Now the box overall, for those of you curious, is 24 inches wide. It's 30 inches tall. I guess I'll do this. With the lid closed, it is about 16 inches deep. That's pretty stinking good. That's a giant ass box. So I made a joke the other day with somebody. I was thinking about putting one of those, if you look at the manual for driving, they'll have these little drawings of in traffic what you're supposed to do. I was kind of thinking about having one of those things like pointing out that the left lane is the passing lane. Yeah, lenses are dirty again. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to put one of those hazard stickers on this, one of those red and white reflective things on here, I think. And you could probably see how important it's going to be for me to, you know, get these bottom tail lights put in. At this vantage point, you can't see, but if you were driving behind me, you know, your head would be driving down around here. You know, you're going to see those better. So I got to get online and order those and get them wired in. This is full of crap. I think we had it on its back over at Dave's, and that some water got in there through here somehow, because it had little moisture damage, not damage, but you could tell there was water in it with all that rain. Not a big deal. Let's see if the keys work. Let's see here. Let's see how these work. Right quick. This isn't exactly Fort Knox back here, but I just lost my eyes. But you can see there's a nice weather stripping here, and this is designed to keep water out, at least from here. It looks like it. You guys tell me, you have one of these boxes? Do they stay pretty much waterproof? That's it. That sucker's locked. So, you know, I feel pretty good about that. All right. So maybe by the end of the day today, maybe I'll just stick on this for a bit and just get that kind of dialed. I'll grind off the bolts here that are sticking out, and we'll see how this all works out. It's a giant friggin' box. So I'm gonna probably chance it. I don't know that I'll get those bottom taillights in quick enough, but I will get them in as soon as I can. But I'll be driving this thing right now without those taillights in that bumper. So this blinker, depending on where you're at behind me, you know, we'll see. There's reflective qualities. It's pretty interesting in the paint. You saw it on the thumbnail for the video from Saturday. when I got this all dialed here. I did the plating and got the plate on. You can see that the light is on, and you can tell that it's on because it's bouncing on these round poles. They don't put that reflective tape, but I'll aim it more towards the light. I won't put it on the back side. You won't even know it's there, but it'll help reflect a little bit of the blinker going off. So I think it'll all help. Keeping in mind, you know, your blinkers are way more effective when it's dark out. You know, in the daytime, half the time, depending on the model of the vehicle you're driving, a lot of times you can't even see the blinker that's on, which is weird. So, and I'm not the only vehicle driving around like this with a big box on the back, so I think it's got to be okay. We'll see. I mean, I know you guys are going to give me your suggestions. That's it for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm stoked. I won't include what I do with the interior right now, but you'll see it at a later date. It's unimportant. The main thing was mounting this. Might as well show you the back side here. You can kind of make out where the riv nuts are, and then you can see these suckers here, and these are tight. You know, no water is going to get in there. I don't know about that, but let's close this all up. And it's almost a secret of how to swing these out, so I don't want to be showing everybody. I mean, you guys know how it works. Put these keys in a safe spot so I don't lose them, but well, that looks good. And you can see there's room from behind this structure, the tube structure, to the back of the vehicle. So as I mentioned before, when I get the tire on, this is the spot. This is obviously going to obstruct a little bit of my view out the rear window. Not necessarily a whole lot. I could clearly see through this spot. You know, the tire is going to come up to here. I'll still be able to see behind me enough. But I was kind of thinking over here, because this spot of your rear view mirror is not as important. I was kind of thinking, I mentioned before, about mounting my tracks behind here, my recovery tracks, and running them up. I don't know. I don't know. I'll come up with some kooky system for that. I don't want to run anything else here because we run into this issue, but we'll figure it out. All right. I'm done. Thanks for being here. Come back again. Catch you in the next one. Be nice to one another. Just missed it by that much.